I've always thought that taking the path less traveled is probably a great way to get robbed, or at least to be late somewhere. Like, what? There's a reason people don't take it, okay? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. There's a new obvious path to take, at least according to CG. Let's see if that actually checks out. It's an interesting discussion, in my opinion, guys. Another interesting discussion is the one about how amazing my patrons are, guys. Thank you guys so much for your support. Truly appreciate it. And guys, remember, folks, please mount the algorithm. Really appreciate you. Let's get going, shall we? So, the obvious path seems obvious, right? CG wants us to farm Galactic Legend Leia. They do. The Tuscan Meatface recently posted a thing earlier this month saying, hey guys, we just wanted to know, what would it take you? Like, this is just like the most straightforward a company can be. They're like, hey guys, we want to make money on this new thing. What could talk you into making money on this new on us making money on this new thing? And honestly, it's just kind of refreshing that, in a way, I mean, they didn't say any money, like, hey, we want you guys to spend money, but this is about as obvious as it gets. And it's kind of a little bit refreshing. It's like, yeah, you do things for money. That's fine. We should all be okay with that, or we shouldn't play this game, kind of, in my opinion. But we're not going to go there. I'm not saying people need to spend money either, to be very clear. But they're like, hey, what's going to incentivize you guys? And then a little bit later, they put a post out saying, okay, guys, well, here's some things the Galactic Legend Leia is going to be used for, and kind of obvious stuff. You got galactic challenges, Datacron's conquest, like all the stuff that you would expect from a new Galactic Legend drop. The big thing, in my opinion, is this Endor escalation tier, and we don't know what the rewards are going to be like for it, but it kind of makes sense. If you look at it, it's analogous to the Jabba Smuggler's Run 2 event, which is crazy. I broke down the stuff that you get from it, guys, and it seems, I mean, it looks good initially, and then if you really look at the impact it has on your roster over the course of a year, which, I mean, a lot of us have been playing this game for several years. It's like, what if I had 7 years worth of Smuggler's Run 2? I've been playing the game for about 7 years. So, gosh, that's such a long time. But it's look at how much per year in the yellow. Like, you get a lot of stuff. Like the 6E mod upgrades, 72. That's a crazy amount that you just earned just for having Jabba. You get all of those attenuators. You get a bunch of now I forget what they're called. That's why I put the little picture on, the CBMs. Like 432 new mods that aren't just gray mod. Like, these are all, it's extremely impactful just for having Jabba. And it's like, you should go for Jabba very early, just for Smuggler's Run 2 almost, though he's impactful in a ton of other ways as well. It's looking like Leia's going to be very similar with the Endor Escalation 3 event. We don't know what it is. It would seem that so Smuggler's Run 1 just gives us a bunch of mod materials, right? And so Smuggler's Run 2 is kind of like the logical upgrade to that. You get better materials, and you get it about 3 times per month. I don't know what we're gonna get for Endor Escalation, but the earlier versions are actually like, you get Zetas for them. So, I mean, the next logical step would be Omicrons. Who knows? Who knows how many Omicrons we're gonna get, or if we're even gonna get them. Maybe they'll just get a pile of Bronzium. I'm not sure. One way or another, seems like Endor Escalation could be extremely lucrative, but we don't want to miss out on that. In addition to everything, guys, do we want to drop everything? I mean, like I always say, like, just farm what you want, be happy. I'm not trying to push anything. I don't care if CG makes a ton of money or not. I mean, I want the game to stay around, but I don't really care if they make extra, really. What I really care about is that we're making good decisions in the game, or at least we have the ability to, and we have all the information. And one of the biggest things, guys, one of the biggest value points that Jabba had was getting us really strong results in the raid early on for the Crate Dragon raid, and now it's going away, and that sucks, and it's not as fun, and I have a Relic 7 Tuscans that can all go to hell. No, I mean, they do fine, actually. They are fun to have, but it's like I'm probably not going to farm Tuscans on my other accounts, you know? Anyways, the raid is a huge reason why it was nice to have Jabba. Tons of people farmed Jabba. I already said before the raid came out that Jabba was the most important character and you should be working on him. But they sweetened the pot even more to have him, and it's going to be similar if you have Galactic Legend Leia. It's unclear exactly what kind of advantage she's going to give you if you use her in the raid, but I think that it will be... It'll be pretty good, I hope. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not even going to speculate. It's just the new raid looks weird. But like to the point that maybe I won't like it at all. But we're going to have to participate one way or another. And Leia is going to be very important to that, I think. And so her value will stay pretty good. I mean, she's the new awesome Galactic Legend. And she's going to have Endor Escalation 3 that should just stay forever. There should be a lot of different things that we get from having her, but her value will diminish once that raid goes away. And so if you want to get the very most out of it, then you want to farm her first. Now, of course, there's hurdles to cross. Like, there's going to be 4 new marquees that you have to farm. And I'm just going to say this now, guys. If you hate the idea of farming characters that are not accelerated, I get it. I do get it. It doesn't look as cool. It's way slower. It's half the time. The thing is, the characters that aren't accelerated are usually the ones that are gonna get you the most awesome stuff. And so I would just recommend maybe just making some sacrifices. You can accelerate the farm yourself if you want. It just costs some crystals to refresh the node, and the energy. It's not as great. I realize that. I'm not trying to say that it's as wonderful, but you're also missing out. Like, people who wait for a full year to even start farming these characters, and then it still takes 3 months to farm them. And then you have to put all the gear on every, like, it takes a long time. Like, you're missing out on over a year's worth of whatever awesome stuff you get, including the new raid rewards. I think just following that accelerated farm is probably, in my opinion, it's folly. We'll talk about that at a different point, but I do think that's something that a lot of new players have kind of just ingrained in themselves, and I would just challenge you to rethink that a little. Maybe I'm wrong, who knows, but I would challenge you to rethink that at the very least. Now, the other piece of it, guys, is if you get Leia, it's great, especially if you're a new player, because it unlocks the doors. It's like the gateway to so much. So let me show you some overlaps that we have on squad requirements. All right, so Leia is gonna require CLS, and Jedi Master Luke, for instance, he doesn't require CLS, though. If you have him farmed, then you almost certainly just have the CLS squad anyways, which is the standard squad is CLS with Chupio, 3PO, Han, and Chewbacca. I mean, that's the standard CLS squad. And so adding CLS to that is so easy because most people should already have him, honestly. Jedi Knight Luke requirements, you need Luke for Jedi Master Luke, but for Leia, you only need a few of these, a few of the requirements. And it's nice. I don't know why I put Hoda there. Hoda is kind of a weird, it's not an overlap, she doesn't need that. But like all of these characters that she requires, you just need You need the same ones. It's pretty magic. C-3PO requirements. So Leia doesn't require C-3PO. However, she does require 3 relic Ewoks. And to get C-3PO initially, you want those Ewoks anyways. Those are all Ewoks you want. And Wicket is actually the way you get Endor Escalation 2, in fact. And then, not that you're going to use the Akbar fleet for very long, but for a little bit you get Akbar. Of course, he's going to be relicked now. You get Wedge, Biggs, Han and Chewie for the Falcon. You get the Rebel Y-Wing. Like, lots and lots of overlap on requirements. They're almost the same, like... There's not very many things that don't overlap. It's quite amazing. In fact, Jabba also has some really obvious overlaps. The CLS squad, again, you need a relic 8. Han, you need like a lot of these things. You need the relic 7 C-3PO. So you're gonna have a C-3PO squad anyways here. I guess you don't need Chewbacca, but for the most part, like, all of these requirements kind of overlap. For the CLS squad, the Jedi Knight Luke requirements, he needs Jedi Luke as well, and so Jedi Knight Luke has a bunch of sub-requirements that you need, like R2-D2, C-3PO, blah blah blah. You guys can read it. C-3PO, once again, we have the Ewok ones, and then they both need Boosh, which is actually a little bit sad. Right now, there are 5 characters on the Leia farm list that are not accelerated. Boosh will be accelerated here in a week or 2, I think. But and then Profundity, overlapping with all of them, like, they have a lot of cool synergy stuff. Like, I'm gonna map it out at some point. Like, the new player guide is coming along slowly, but we're getting there. Galactic Legend Leia has the overlap with Profundity because you have Captain Rex, who goes well with Hera. They're 2 really important parts of the Phoenix squad, which Phoenix is going to be so good early game, honestly, guys. And then the Ghost and Phantom Jedi Master Luke has a ton of stuff, like Mon Mothma. They both require Mon Mothma, Biggs, Wedge, Han and Chewie for the Falcon, Rebel Y-Wing, obviously, and then Jabba, they both require Dash and the Outrider, which is nice. And then one of my favorite things to say ever is, let's involve Starkiller. He's probably is my favorite character in this game. Honestly, guys, he does so many cool things, and we're not gonna get into that. But if you're like a new player, just pointing some of these things out, guys. I'm not trying to map it out like, oh, you should do this first or whatever. But Starkiller is suddenly a very interesting farm first, because he touches on so many of these other ones that we were just looking at, like Kyle Katarn can go with Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma is not any good without Kyle Katarn. You have Darth Talon is the only one that's like, well, it's kind of a weird one, but you're gonna want a Traya squad anyways, so that you can complete those proving grounds as early as you can. So Traya is an important farm and team you're gonna be working on anyways, even if you don't need requirements. But then Dash, you have the start of a good Dash team, but then you just need Dash for the Profundity and for Jabba. So that's it. And then he's a good team. He has a good team anyways. And then the Starkiller team actually just kind of makes itself. So the Emperor Palpatine unlock is easy because you have so many rebels and everything. If you have Phoenix, blah blah blah. Mara Jade obviously is Starkiller, part of the Starkiller unlock, Starkiller himself. And then Jedi Master Luke requires Old Ben, which is the Jedi that you can use, and he's probably one of the best Jedi you can use on Starkiller anyways. And then Jedi Training Rey is like, there's not really a perfect light side unaligned force user for this squad, so Jedi Training Rey will do. They'll do nicely. That's just fine. So this guy, like, if you farm all these things, guys, you can you can get a good Starkiller team on top of all of that. So at the end, like, look at this huge list of things that you'll get. I'm not saying that this is for sure the definitive way you have to do it. I do think that it's going to be wise to work on Leia early on, if you can, for the reasons I said before. But then if like it folds into the next farm super easily, and once all of her requirements become accelerated, I think she'll end up being the unanimous no-brainer that everyone goes for first, or at least incorporating her ideas into it. Like right now you can fold her into, like, you can get, if you unlock her, then you can get Jabba pretty dang quick right after that, and you can get Profundity. Maybe you want Profundity first, but you don't want Executor first anyways anymore, because Executor doesn't kill Leviathan super consistently, at least not that I've seen. Some people have said that they can, and I haven't seen them back it up yet, at least. We'll see, but you also you have a bunch of cool stuff to work on for, you know, your next farms as well. Like there's just a really nice cascading effect here if you start kind of with this group, and my guess is, you know, maybe we should be working on Leia first. I don't know. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. This is, to me, very, very interesting and intriguing, as she seems like a really strong candidate to be farming first. Of course, some of that depends on Endor escalation. And then I guess the one other thing I want to point out here, guys, which it's not actually on this slide or anything, but just keep in mind with the raid, we don't know, and maybe they won't do it, but Relic 10 seems like it's gonna be here eventually. There's already people with over 60 Relic 9s, and those people spend a lot of money on this game. They probably want to keep that progression available for people. And eventually they're going to want us to have Relic 10 anyway. So I know that's a dirty word for some people, but it's very possible that this new raid will have Relic 10 materials, and Leia will be a great way to be able to access some of those, potentially. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong on that. That's just speculation. But anyways, guys, I'm going to let you go. Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.